If you're just doing it for the fame and the money, you're definitely doing something wrong, because any other job will get you more money and more fame. It's just this very small percentage that a lot of people admire. But if you realize how little people actually get this big kind of fame, you will realize very fast that it's almost impossible for you to reach the same level. There are so many factors involved. It's so unlikely. So please, if you make music, do it because you like it.
Until we know we are, we keep dancing with our hearts.
Up until now, the weather was just perfect. I even got my sunglasses, and these clouds, they are now creeping into the direction of my studio. You see, this looks like rain, and here it's sunny. So let's walk a little faster. Hallo. Danke sehr. Tschüss. Got the new haircut, finally. Looks good. I'm all ready for Vanessa's sister's wedding. And unfortunately, this right here is a letter from the Finanzverwaltung Nordrhein-Westfalen, which is like the finance government thing. And this just means disaster for my entire day. I was looking forward to work on new tracks or try to finish tracks, but this has to be done. It will take me probably the entire day. This looks pretty bad, a lot of pages that I have to fill out, and I don't have a clue how to fill it out and what to put in here, but I have to do it as soon as possible. So let me get all of this sorted out, and then just the next edition of Q&A. I'm back. For you, just a couple of seconds. For me, a lot of very painful hours trying to find out things, fill them out, and all these kind of things. I asked you on Snapchat and also Instagram stories to just send me your questions, so let's start. The first one is by Harry. He's asking me, if you aren't an established producer, how do you get a songwriter to take you seriously? That's really hard at the beginning. The first 4 or 5 singer and songwriters I've worked together, they were all introduced to me through friends, so this is probably the easiest, just getting to know them in person. If you make really good instrumentals, then you can also send them to singer and songwriters just on SoundCloud and just go from there, and it will get a whole lot easier step by step. The next one by Ben, he's basically asking me if I have any suggestions for finding a producer who could possibly mentor him or other new producers. It's really tough because most producers that are producing good, they don't have the time to mentor someone. Maybe there's a studio in the city where you live and you could like work there and just watch what they do and maybe sit with them while they're producing tracks. But other than that, I'd say pretty much everything is on YouTube, or you can just get books, ebooks, and learn it this way. It's of course easier with someone. Another way would be to go to a music school and learn producing there. I'm not a big fan of it, but this might be also a possibility for you. What are your favorite DJing headphones? Definitely the Sennheiser HD25, I think they're called. They're super light, they just sound amazing, and never had any problems with them, except for forgetting the little adapter. Would you rather do YouTube or be a producer full-time if you had the choice? That's a really easy answer. Definitely making music. This YouTube thing is just a small little hobby, and I'm just doing it to support my music. Although I have to say, I really love making these videos. It's the same as with my music, doing something creative and share it with people. So I really like it, but definitely music comes first. Rudolf was asking me a whole lot of stuff about reverbs, how to set them correctly, how much pre-delay time, and all these kind of things. I think I will just make an entire video about reverb that makes more sense. There's no way I could answer it just in a sentence. Just let me know if you're interested in a reverb special tutorial thing. Josh is asking something really interesting if I've ever really cared about fame. And he says I obviously like producing, and if I ever did try to get famous, if I ever wish to be like the top guy. That's interesting, but also tough to answer. Of course, when you start making music, you kind of dream of becoming big with it. I think that's one of the reasons for a lot of people to make music. For me, it's definitely not the main purpose, especially not now. I just really enjoy to have the freedom to do every day what I want, and as long as it's supporting my life, which it now again starts to do, I'm really super happy. If you'd asked me 10 years ago if I'd like to be in the position that I'm right now in, I would definitely agree every single time, every day, because it's just amazing. I'm having a whole lot of fun. I just do something creative, share it with people, and I think that's worth more than money or fame. If the fame ever comes, I don't know. I would figure it out. I don't know. Saverman is asking me if I'm playing again at the Perukaville Festival this year. I'm pretty sure not, because Smirnov, who booked me last year and had this nice little stage, is not part of the Perukaville this year. So probably not. Gabriel is asking me if I ever feel like not producing. Yes, definitely. There are days where I just don't feel like producing, then I just don't produce. I do other things. I always have a lot of things to do, especially business things. Does it ever feel like it's too much work? No, definitely not. It always feels like fun, except on the days where I'm sick, have headache, or other things to take care of. But usually whenever I'm making music, I'm just at another place having the time of my life. Johannes or so asked me if I could tell him about the audio settings in the DAW, because he has problems with clipping. Usually you will solve it just with having a limiter on the end of your mastering chain, just to like prevent clipping. If you have like a clipping noise in your DAW, it might be just that your processors are overloading. There's a small CPU hub that you can open up, and maybe let me just show you my audio settings really quick in Logic. So these are the audio settings, nothing too fancy, it's all in German, but you will probably be able to figure it out. What's really interesting is here the buffer size. I vary it depending on how far the production is. For the recording stage, I like to keep it so that I have the least amount of delay, and when I'm done with the recording, I will increase it so that my computer has more time to process the plugins. Rio is asking, hello from Dubai, why Jon Sine? How did you get that name? I actually already made an entire episode about my name, how I came up with it. I will link it just down below. Next question, Luigi is asking how I figured out that making music is my destiny. Phew. I don't know, I was always very interested in music. As a small kid, I already liked to scratch my mom's records, so I first got into DJing, started loving selecting tracks, playing it in front of people, and then slowly got into music production because I had the urge to not only play music, also make my own. And I've never really imagined or thought I will end up a full-time music producer. It just happened. And he's also asking if he should go the next step, buy equipment and start seriously producing music. It really depends. I mean, you can still buy the equipment, start with it. If you don't like it, sell it. You won't lose a whole lot. I can't really tell. It's really up to your personality. But as I already said, if you do it for the fame and money, don't do it. Tobias is asking something very similar. Why did you start producing music? Yes, really just this feeling of also creating my own music and not only just playing music. The next question is pretty long, so let me try and keep it short. It's mostly about the path as a music producer and that there are so many things to take care of, logo design, where to send demos, how to make the tracks and all these kind of things. And this person feels a little overwhelmed, which I can fully understand, but at the beginning concentrate fully on making good and great music. Not just the production, mainly just the songwriting. Make a good track, because if your mixing isn't good, you can find someone else to mix it for you. And the second you have a really strong track, and believe me, your first 10, 20 tracks are not strong enough. It took me, I think, 30 or 40 to have my first real release. So just make a bunch of tracks, and if they're good enough, then think about an artist name, a logo, and then send it out to labels. Ali is asking when I did first start making music. I think 10 years ago. And if I could show you my very first song, I actually already also made an episode about that, so I will link it down below. What kind of outboard gear would I like to have? I don't know, I don't really need outboard gear. I would definitely love to get a new Mac. Mine is getting slow, and better speakers, and if I have those two things, I don't know, maybe a compressor or a synthesizer, but nothing particular in mind. I don't have the money for these kind of things, so I'm not even bothering with it. Last question, if I have any experience with mixing hip-hop or rap? Not really. I never produced a rap, hip-hop or R&B track. I used to DJ a whole lot of hip-hop and R&B. All of these records here, almost all of these records are hip-hop tracks. I really loved hip-hop for a very long time, until up the time of like Usher's year. That was the time where hip-hop kind of died for me, and I wasn't that interested in it anymore. But maybe in the future I will do a hip-hop R&B kind of track. The newer hip-hop stuff is really a style that I like again, so maybe, who knows. That's pretty much already it. I have to hurry up now, it's again super late. I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A. Now just time to head back home, enjoy the rest of the evening.
Keep dancing with my
Best way to find a vocalist, I also already made an episode about it, link down below.